Welcome to Career Uprising. I'm your host, Lorraine Rise, a career and executive coach dedicated to helping clients who are 40 plus to break free from feeling stuck and transform into the unstoppable force you're destined to become. Let's start the uprising. Hey everyone, this is Lorraine Rise, your host. Welcome to Career Uprising, and this is episode 174, How to Network Without Feeling Awkward. I love that title. I giggle a little bit when I hear that because so many people feel like networking is so awkward, but we're going to dissect this topic in some detail today. So first, hello. Thank you for finding the show. Please do take a moment now. I make this plea every show at the beginning because it's so important. Please subscribe and hit follow on Apple for the show. You'll get notified of all my new episodes. And it's just a great way to stay in touch with the show. It helps the show to grow and be found. And of course, leaving a review is even better as well. I read every review on Apple and everywhere that you can leave a review. So thank you in advance for that, for doing that while you listen. And you can find the archive of the show at careeruprising.com/podcast. Every episode is on there. So welcome. And I realized that for a show about careers and job searching, we haven't talked about networking really in a while. And so we need to fix that. This is such a pillar of my program and the work that I do. It is probably one of the topics that I have to teach the most on because it's really challenging for a lot of people. It really is. And that's why I titled the show the way that I did, Without Feeling Awkward, because a lot of times it does feel cringy and it does feel awkward and it can be just downright uncomfortable. And my message for you today is that if your networking is awkward, you're doing it wrong. It doesn't have to be that way. And I am somebody who it took me until in my 30s and even more now in my 40s to really understand good networking. It is not something I knew how to do. I had to learn how to do it. I actively avoided it and never, quote, networked with any kind of intention. In my 20s, the only way I ever found a job before was just applying on job boards. And that got me so far for a while in my career. But as I progressed, that stopped working. And I realized, and especially as a business owner as well, how important relationships are. Okay. And that is what networking is really all about. It's, if we could rename it or something, it's about building relationships. It's about making friends, right? It's about meeting new people and staying in touch with them. It is not supposed to be about just can you hire me, or awkwardly reaching out to people when you're in a job search and trying to like plant the seed that you're looking for something and like hoping that they'll reply. No. Okay. I'm going to give you a new model and a new framework today. But the first thing I want you to know is that there is a networking mindset. You have to have a good mindset before you go into any of this. If you approach it in a transactional way where the only purpose is just to have them help you get a job, well, that's going to suck. That's going to be really awkward and uncomfortable. That's the networking you've probably been doing, and we're not talking about that today. I don't need to teach you how to do that, right? I want you to have fun. I want you to just focus on making friends, meeting new people. You do not have to be an extrovert to do this. You can be an introvert and meet new people. You do it anyway. Everyone meets new people. Everyone, introvert or not, initiates conversations. Everyone knows people. You can do it in your own way, but this is also something that you need to cultivate for the long run. So if your intention is just to immediately get a job lead right away, and that's the only reason why you're networking, it's not gonna work. It's probably not going to work. Not that you can't get a job from networking in the short term. You absolutely can. But if you are making that the focus and your mindset and the only way to measure success with it, that's a problem. That's a problem. So that's why I want to start with the mindset piece first, because that is your foundation. Okay. I want you to approach this from a much more relaxed, enjoyable standpoint where we're going to have some great conversations. We're going to make some great new connections. Yes, we are in a job search, likely. I mean, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but typically that's when people get their butt into gear and start networking. But if you cultivate this ongoing for the long run, whether you need a job or not, that is where you are going to be the most successful. And that, ironically, is what will produce a job lead for you in the short term, is if you have already been doing these things that I teach as a way of life, not just this thing that I do uncomfortably every now and then when I need a job. Stop. We're not going to do that anymore. We're changing how we approach this for life, okay? And just becoming somebody who maintains relationships, stays in touch with their connections, comments on their stuff on LinkedIn, reaches out periodically just for a no agenda catch-up call, right? These are all some of the things that we're going to get into. But my point is, make this something that you do for the long run, for the pure enjoyment of it, and for long-term career management. When you do that, the next time you need a job, it will be there for you and it will happen so quickly. So if you're starting at ground zero today, that's fine. Start today. Okay? Start now, start today. So the first principle that I want to teach you, because today's show is not all about mindset. That's just the foundation. I do want to get tactical with you and give you essentially three concepts that I want to teach. We're going to do two now, and then the third one after the commercial break. And these are pillars of phenomenal networking. Okay. So the first concept that I want to teach you is connection points. And you can call it something else. That's what I like to call it. Connection points are kind of like events or triggers that are, make it easy for you to reach out to somebody. Okay, so for example, somebody has a birthday. That's a great connection point. Reach out to them. They get a new job. They get a promotion. They graduated, right? Maybe they even got laid off. A life event, basically. And you see these a lot on LinkedIn, or maybe you hear about it offline as well. Not all networking is going to happen on LinkedIn. I talk about that a lot, but that is certainly not the only platform. Whatever this milestone or this event is, allow that to be a conversation starter. It's a connection point. Okay. So that's where you reach out and don't overthink it. Keep it simple. And you just send them a message, whether it's on LinkedIn or email or text, however you feel comfortable based on your relationship with this person. And you acknowledge it and you say, hey, congrats. And I want you to really challenge yourself here to go beyond the standard little boilerplate, hey, happy birthday, and leave it at that. Or congrats on the new job, and then you stop. Start an actual meaningful conversation with the person, okay? So, hey, I saw on LinkedIn that you got a new job at XYZ company. How are you liking it so far? We have not had a call in forever. Let's catch up. Do you have 15 minutes this week? That is such a better message, so much more personalized, and actually has an ask for a call in it. You're going to get a better response from that than congrats on the new job, which, by the way, these days you can do without even typing it on LinkedIn. You just hit one of the pre-filled messages in there. How lazy, right? We're not talking about lazy networking here. That's not what we do at Career Uprising, all right? I'm going to up-level you guys. I want your fingers to actually type a 3 or 4 sentence message to this person. And whether you do it in the initial message or after they reply, ask to catch up with them. Okay? Take it to the next step. Hey, let's catch up on a quick Zoom call. Or can I give you a call later? I'd love to hear more about this. Let's have a conversation. So whatever the milestone is, even, they finished their degree or got a certificate or whatever it is, and it can be a positive or a challenging life event as well. Hey, I saw that you got laid off. I'm so sorry to hear that. It is a tough market right now. I'd really love to hear more about your situation and support you. Let's have a quick call this week. It's been too long since we've talked. Something like that. Make it sound like whatever you want. That's what I would say. But leverage these easy, natural, built-in connection points and take advantage of them. The benefit of these is they allow you to very easily reconnect with people who maybe the connection's gone cold. Maybe you haven't talked to them in 6 months or even a year or more. This is a great opportunity to connect with them again without feeling awkward. You have a reason to connect with them. It makes sense, right? Not that you necessarily even have to have a reason. I love reaching out to people with no agenda whatsoever. Hey, let's talk. It's been forever. What's new? Let's catch up. That in itself is perfectly acceptable. But if you need a little help, then lean on these connection points as conversation starters. You can find them on LinkedIn, or maybe if you hear about it through the grapevine, through somebody else. Hey, so-and-so told me that you're no longer with such and such company. Oh, tell me more about it. What happened? Whatever. You guys get the picture, okay? Keep your message short and simple. Don't overthink it. There's no magic words. Just start the conversation, okay? So, step 1, leverage your connection points. Step 2, I want you to expand your thinking outside of your immediate network. Okay, so you have your friends and your family and your people who know really well. And yes, those are absolutely great people to be re-engaging in, to be leaning on them for support. And they may be able to help you in some way to get a job, but they might not. I hear it a lot from people that I don't know anyone who can hire me. Right? I don't have anyone that I can think of in my network who can just get me a job. No, maybe, probably not. That's a lot of people. Okay. But don't stop there. What's just outside of your immediate network? Your second degree connections, your acquaintances. What's magical about these is that they are a bridge to everyone outside of your network. So I want you to kind of envision a circle for a minute, that your inner circle, that's the people who are the closest to you. And then just outside that is another circle that's a little bit larger, okay? So we got the inner circle and then another larger circle outside of it. Those are your second degree connections. And here's the thing, just outside of your second degree connections is like the whole world. Everybody else, okay? And within your second or maybe third degree connections and people that you don't know, there's the people who can hire you. So I want you to view these kind of, some people call them weak ties, you can call them second degree connections, acquaintances. These people that you have at least like a little bit or an older kind of connection to, they are gold because you have just enough in common that you can reach out to them and kind of, rekindle that flame a little bit, so to speak. And they are the link to the outside world where your opportunity lies. They're a bridge, basically, to everybody else that you want to know. This is where the best networking really happens. I have gotten jobs this way twice. Actually, I can think of two that I have gotten this way through some reaching out. Well, one time I reached out to somebody, I initiated it, who I hadn't talked to in a while. It had been a few years, but we knew each other from these meetings we used to go to. We were connected on LinkedIn. I would see her post sometimes. We hadn't had a conversation in probably 2 years. And I got a job by reaching out to her and saying, hey, I'm looking for work. You have so much experience in this field. Do you have any advice for me? I didn't ask her for a job at all. I didn't expect anything to actually come of it other than support and advice. And it landed me a job. And then I had another one happen organically where somebody just brought me an opportunity through a kind of a weaker tie and it's somebody I had just recently connected with. And that landed a job as well. This happens. This is real. All right. And I've seen plenty of clients get jobs this way. So I want you to understand this concept of kind of weak ties, or we'll call them second degree connections, acquaintances. And I want you to understand the importance of them because they are the link to the outside world. There's probably a lot more we can unpack here. Exactly what you say and how you do it might just kind of depend on what your relationship is with them. But these are the people that I actually want you to spend most of your time connecting to, because their network will so easily become your network. And that's where the referrals and everything happen. Okay. Sometimes it comes from your immediate network, but it may not for a lot of people. So you're going to have to look to those second degree connections and really, really start choosing maybe the ones that you feel like could be the most impactful, and coming up with a short list and targeting some of those second degree connections in your outreach. Okay. All right. Let that marinate for a minute. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to teach you a framework that I teach my private coaching clients for what to say and what kind of questions to ask and how to get that conversation going. Now that we know we want to target our second degree connections and we want to lean on these connection points. All right. We have a little bit of a starting point. Now, what do we say? What do we do? All right. So stick around. We'll be back in just about 1 or 2 minutes and we have more. Hey everyone, it's Lorraine again. While the show takes a quick break, I want to tell you a little bit more about what we do at Career Uprising. We've been in business for 10 years now, helping clients who are either executives or in the late career phase. We work with clients in all different industries, from tech to healthcare to education. Are you worried about ageism in your job search? Or maybe you haven't looked for a job in years and you feel outdated and overwhelmed. Or maybe you feel stuck and want to figure out what's next for you in your career. If any of these sound like you, we might be a good fit. My team and I have helped over 500 clients over the last decade to land new jobs faster than they could on their own. We offer world-class coaching, resume writing, and salary negotiation support. First, you can sign up for my mailing list and be a part of my growing community. Head over to careeruprising.com today and learn more and book a call with me. That's careeruprising.com. I can't wait to connect with you. Let's get back to the show. All right, we are back, guys. We have more networking to do, and I'm going to teach you a great framework that I have used for years with my clients, and it will help it feel so much less awkward. In fact, I have literally seen looks of relief across my clients' faces when I teach this. And I'm so excited to share it with you. So if you may have heard this before, if you have listened to this show, okay? I teach this over and over because it is so impactful. It is so effective. So when you are networking, I want you to get some AIR, AIR, write that down. Advice, insights, and recommendations. These three things should be the focus of your conversations. And you can use them in your initial messaging and outreach to people, depending on who it is and what you feel like would be appropriate and how they might be able to help you. All right. So, for example, rather than immediately bringing up the job search and expecting people to, hire you or introduce you right to the hiring manager, slow down, take a step back, engage your network and in the bigger picture first. Okay. Just get the conversation going. And then we're going to let it go in the direction that we want it to go, which is going to be likely your job search. That's going to be one of the topics, okay, that we talk about. Not necessarily everything, because we want to make sure we're giving and receiving here. But my point is, I want you to focus first on asking your network for advice, insights, or recommendations, okay? Because sometimes also people want to help you, but they don't know how, right? What would be helpful? They might be thinking, sure, I'd love to help you, but am I in a position to do that? I don't really know what to do. And that's often why people don't reply to your messages, right? Because they don't know what to do and they don't want to reject you necessarily, or they're not sure if they have the time for it because it's kind of all foggy and vague, right? So help them help you. So think about advice, right? You could just say, what advice do you have for me in this search right now? Or, I know you have a lot of experience in the pharmaceutical industry. What advice do you have for me in applying to those jobs? What do you think hiring managers are looking for, right? So get their advice. Maybe you know somebody who was in a job search recently and they landed. Ask them, how did you do it? What worked for you? I'd love your advice, right? It's a great way to just start the conversation, and then you can weave in other pieces into the conversation. You're going to share with them that you are also looking. It's going to come up, or let it come up organically in the conversation is my point. Okay. You don't need to make it the focal point immediately. So think about insights too. Is there someone in your network who could give you really valuable information? This is especially important if you are looking to appeal to another industry, right? Maybe you're making an industry change, or you just want to be open to and not limited to one industry. Talk to people in your network who work in those industries. Get their advice and insights. I'm curious, with all your experience in the tech field, would I look attractive? Are there any skills that I should be getting up to date on? What are hiring managers in tech looking for versus other industries? Whatever the question is that makes sense. People love to give advice. They love to be helpful and share their expertise. They really do. So if that's what you need them to do, that's more likely to get the conversation going. Notice I didn't say, hey, I'm looking forward. Let me know if you hear of anything. How many times have you received or seen someone do that? They say it exactly like that. I'm looking for, project manager roles. Let me know if you hear of any leads. That is the laziest networking in the world. And how easy is it for someone to just reply to that and go, oh yeah, I'll definitely keep you in mind. I'll keep my eye out. And they never get back to you. Why? That should not be shocking. You get in you get back what you put in, right? That's not enough. Okay. I want you to actually reach out and find out, how are they doing? Have a conversation with them. Ask them to catch up and don't just talk only about yourself. Genuinely have a relationship and ask them what's going on with them. Then the conversation will come to you and you can share an update. Yeah, I was actually let go. I'm actively in a job search. Here's what I'm looking for. Hey, and by the way, I think that you might be able to give me some really good advice on this, right? Or something like that. Or then the third one is recommendations. Could they give you recommendations of companies to apply to? Could they maybe be, even when it's appropriate, be willing to recommend somebody else for you to talk to and do an introduction in your network. Even if that person can't hire you, maybe they can still give you a valuable connection to somebody with industry experience, anything like that. You're going to have to zoom out. You're going to have to start a little bit broader first. And then as you go and have more conversations, you can then refine your approach and get closer and closer to the people who really will be able to hire you. But if you're not able or willing to do the legwork up front, that's going to be a problem. It just is. So I understand it's hard, especially when you're currently working and you're job searching. That presents its own challenge. If you are unemployed, you should have no less than, I would say, at least 5 networking calls on your calendar every week. It is your full-time job. If you are unemployed, you should be networking every week. I would aim for a call a day. I absolutely would. Part of this is a volume problem. Quality matters too. We're not just going to talk with any Joe Schmo, but if we're not having any, or if we're having like one a week, that's just not going to do it from a volume perspective. Okay. So it depends on how big of a priority this is and how much time you have, but use that framework: advice, insights, and recommendations. Those are how you start the conversation. Those are how you structure the conversation. And those questions, there's a million other questions we could brainstorm within that. Those are the questions that are going to lead you in the right direction in this search and in your conversations. And the last thing I'm going to do, and this is so important, I want you to be a giver. Stop thinking about networking as take. That is the worst networking ever. And that's why people don't help you maybe. Okay? I want you to focus on being authentic, being genuine, and actually like caring about the other person and asking them how they are doing and what you can do for them. That is where it becomes actually a lot less awkward, because now it's more balanced. The reason it feels awkward to you is because it's one-sided. If it's not, it stops feeling awkward and starts feeling more like an actual conversation or relationship. And then when we remove the awkwardness, we can do it more often and more comfortably. And then that's when it leads to a job. That makes sense? Remove the awkwardness and you remove the barrier to doing it better, doing it more often, and then you land a job. Okay? So if networking is uncomfortable for you, that is what we get to the bottom of first. And then we increase the volume as well. All right? Okay. I've given you guys a lot to chew on. I think that we're going to leave it at that. All right. I should probably do a part 2 on this, but consider one-to-one coaching if you are having anxiety about implementing any of this, because there's a lot more we can unpack. And there's a lot of personalization that could happen as well. Consider working with us. You can go to careeruprising.com. You can request a phone call. That phone call will be with me personally. It's about 20 minutes. It's on Zoom. There is no cost. There's no obligation. I don't even enroll everybody who wants to enroll. It has to be a good fit. So there is no there's no sales pitch or high pressure. I don't believe in that. I don't like it. Personally, I think that's awkward. And we don't chase people down. I mean, we're here. We have what we have to offer, and we're here for those people who want to say yes. So that's how that goes, okay? I would love to connect with you. Go to careeruprising.com, and I will be back with another episode in 2 weeks. Thanks, guys. Hey, it's Lorraine, and I want to say thanks for listening. If you found value in today's show, I would be honored to have your review on Apple Podcasts. It's the single best way to help this show be found by other listeners, and you'll earn some good karma. Thanks again for tuning in, and I can't wait to connect with you next time on Career Uprising.